The annual family picnic had always been a bittersweet tradition. Held on the sprawling green lawn behind my parents' countryside home, it was meant to be a celebration, a reunion of generations. But for me, it had always carried the weight of exclusion, a reminder that I was never quite the favorite daughter. This year was supposed to be different. It was the first time I'd be attending as a mother myself. My 7-year-old daughter Lily had been counting down the days, practicing her polite greetings and picking out a pink dress with daisies stitched on the hem, the one she said made her feel like a flower princess. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. We arrived early, just like my mother always demanded. Respectful people show up before the food, she used to say, though she never applied that logic to my sister Andrea. As soon as we stepped out of the car, I saw the usual. Andrea already sitting near the grill with her 3 boys, who were being praised for simply existing. My parents barely acknowledged us. "Did you bring the fruit salad I asked for?" Mom asked, not even glancing at Lily. I held up the bowl. "Right here." She snatched it like I was a caterer, not a daughter. Hours passed in a haze of passive-aggressive comments. My daughter stayed close to me, trying to make herself smaller every time my father raised his voice barking orders. The food was finally served. Classic picnic fare, burgers, potato salad, fresh corn. The kids lined up first. Or rather, Andrea's kids did. When Lily stepped forward, Grandma raised a hand. "Wait, sweetheart, let the other children go first." "But I've been waiting," Lily said softly, clutching her paper plate. "She can wait a bit more," Dad added. "Andrea's boys are growing. They need to eat first." Something snapped. My daughter, the one who had spent days making thank you cards for everyone, was now being told to wait because she wasn't born into the right womb. She wasn't part of the golden lineage. She was just my kid, the daughter of the girl who never got invited to the grown-up table, the one who got her birthday gift 3 days late and her name misspelled on the family Christmas card. I leaned down to Lily and whispered, "We're leaving." "But the food," she whispered back. "We'll eat somewhere better." I took her hand and we walked past the shocked faces of my relatives, past my sister who muttered, "So dramatic," under her breath, past my mother who said, "You always ruin everything." They didn't know that I wasn't just walking away. I was preparing something they would never forget. I didn't say a word to anyone as I walked back to the car with Lily's small hand in mine. Her little feet stumbled a few times trying to keep up with me, but she didn't complain, not once. Her eyes were wide, confused, her grip tight. She didn't understand why her cousins got first pick at the picnic, why Grandma suddenly seemed cold, or why her grandpa looked at her like she didn't belong. And honestly, I couldn't explain it to her in a way that would make sense. How do you tell a child that favoritism runs so deep in your family tree that it strangled your childhood and is now trying to wrap its roots around hers? When I buckled her into the back seat, she looked up at me and asked, "Did I do something wrong?" I nearly broke. "No, baby, you were perfect. They're the ones who forgot how to treat people." I drove us to a quiet little spot I'd heard about, a countryside inn with a 5-star restaurant that overlooked a vineyard. I had never dared step foot there growing up. It was one of those places my parents used to scoff at, saying it was too fancy or too full of people who think they're better than us. But I had recently come into a little money of my own, a side business that grew when no one paid attention to me. It was finally time to do something bold with it. We were greeted by the head chef herself, a warm woman named Claudine with silver hair and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. She immediately noticed Lily's red-rimmed eyes and knelt down. "You okay, sweetheart?" Lily nodded shyly. Claudine glanced up at me and said, "Come with me. I think today is special." She led us to a beautiful table by the window, a chef's table, white tablecloth, gold silverware, fresh peonies in a small vase. Claudine then crouched beside Lily and whispered, "You're the guest of honor today. That means you pick the menu." My daughter blinked. "I can choose anything?" "Anything your heart wants," Claudine smiled. And just like that, my daughter's face lit up. She asked for pink lemonade, macaroni with extra cheese and sparkles, Claudine's kitchen whipped up edible glitter to my amazement, and chocolate-covered strawberries shaped like hearts. Every plate that came out looked like it belonged in a fairy tale. I watched my daughter beam, laugh, and eat with delight. I took pictures, we danced a little to the soft music playing in the background, and for the first time that day, she felt seen, celebrated. But my mind hadn't let go of what happened at the picnic. They had humiliated her. Again. They had humiliated me. Again. They needed to learn that I wasn't the forgotten daughter anymore, that I wasn't a doormat, that my daughter was not a prop for their hierarchy. And I had just the plan. You see, Claudine wasn't just the head chef. She was also the owner of the entire estate, the restaurant, the vineyard, the luxury inn, and, coincidentally, the resort where my parents had planned next year's big family vacation reunion. They'd bragged about it in the group chat. Every room booked, big barbecue planned. This year, only direct family, Mom had texted pointedly. I hadn't been invited, again. But Claudine? She loved Lily. She adored our energy. And when I told her what had happened, what this family had done to my daughter, she offered something that felt like destiny. Buy into the resort. I've been looking for someone to manage the hospitality expansion. You've got heart, and that little girl deserves to host a party of her own. I didn't even hesitate. Within 2 months, I bought a significant stake, and within 4, I had full control of all future events, and I let their reservation stand, because they were walking right into my kitchen. The day of the family reunion picnic arrived with more fanfare than usual. My parents had been buzzing in the family group chat about the new resort they had discovered. They posted filtered pictures of the entrance, the polished floors, the vineyard in the distance. My sister chimed in, raving about the chef's reputation and how she might let her kids try the adult menu. No one mentioned me. I wasn't tagged in anything. I wasn't even acknowledged. And that was exactly what I wanted. They were so caught up in their own self-importance that they didn't recognize the subtle changes, like how the banner outside now read, "Welcome home, Lily," or how every child received a name tag with a flower, except one, who got a hand-painted card placed neatly in the center of the long banquet table. Lily, host of the day. My parents didn't notice at first. They were too busy criticizing the wine selection, too expensive, Dad mumbled, and asking if the real chef was coming out, or if the French lady with the silver hair was just for decoration. Claudine greeted them with a serene smile and offered chilled cucumber water. My mother waved her off, requesting, "Something with sugar, please." My sister rolled her eyes and whispered to her husband that this place was trying too hard. But their tone shifted the moment the first course was announced. A soft bell chimed. Out walked a server in crisp white, holding a card that read, "Today's menu curated by Lily, the girl you told to eat last." Every head turned. My father froze mid-sip. My mother blinked rapidly, clutching her pearls like someone had just cursed in church. My sister scoffed but said nothing. And then I walked in, holding my daughter's hand. Both of us dressed in white linen, glowing in the warm afternoon sun, like we belonged in the very center of it all. Silence. I stood at the head of the table directly in front of my parents. "Good afternoon. I'm your host today," I said with a calm smile. "This table was curated by the child you dismissed, and the woman you thought would stay small." Claudine raised her glass. "To Lily, the only one at this table with enough grace to still offer you a seat." My mother stood up, flustered. "What is this? You're making a scene." "No, Mom," I said. "I'm setting the table." My father glared at me. "You think you can humiliate us?" "Number, you did that to yourselves," I replied. "When you told my child to eat last because she's mine. When you invited everyone else to events except us. When you laughed at her discomfort like it was entertainment. That's when you lost your seat of honor." My sister snorted. "Is this revenge or just a cry for attention?" I looked directly at her. "You took center stage your whole life, Danielle. You got the scholarships, the graduation parties, the keys to Mom and Dad's vacation homes. All I got was silence and babysitting duties. But not today. Today, the stage is Lily's. The servers began to bring out the food. Each course had a custom card, not describing the ingredients, but moments. Course 1, for every time Lily was told to wait. Course 2, for every time you asked me to bring extra food but never offered to pay. Course 3, for every time you used me and called it love. By the time dessert came, my parents were quiet, their plates untouched. My sister refused to look at me. Her husband, visibly uncomfortable, whispered something about calling a cab. Lily, however, was laughing, a chocolate mousse smile smeared across her cheeks. Her eyes sparkled as Claudine brought out a tiny cake just for her, with candles that spelled, "You matter." I leaned in close to my daughter and whispered, "This is your table now. Always." And then I looked at my parents. You may have forgotten what kindness looks like, but I won't let her grow up thinking that love means tolerating cruelty. We're not your emotional punchline anymore. We're done. They didn't speak. For the first time in my life, I saw regret etched into their faces. Real, trembling, too late regret. I took Lily's hand, walked away from the table, and left them there, surrounded by the consequences of everything they'd done and the empty chairs they could no longer fill. Justice wasn't loud. It wasn't cruel. It was calm, precise. I didn't need revenge to feel powerful. I just needed to take back the seat at the table they tried to deny us and reserve it for someone who would never again be asked to eat last. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.